Other account, make sure we're actually live. Refresh real quick and cool. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Lucky Ocean Podcast. No clean today. I guess he got called into work. Kind of happens once or twice a month at this point. Unfortunate, but we're here with Matteo from FluidTokens, and he's going to kind of walk us through FluidTokens and everything that they're going to be offering. So, how you doing today, Matteo?
Hey everyone, I'm good. How are you there?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just been kind of like super hyped through all this hype process lately. Like there's been all these new meme coins. Fren like broke the chain yesterday. So it's just been it's been an emotional roller coaster, but it's just been so fun. It kind of reminds me of back when Snek first launched and then Bank launched afterwards. It reminds me it kind of has like the same hype behind it.
There's like a little bit of chaos, but it's a good chaos. So I like it in the chain.
Do you do any sort of trading yourself?
Trading, yes. I don't trade normally meme coins or only with the main ones. So I say the classic Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, etc.
Gotcha.
But more for the long term than for daily trading. So I do have a portfolio, etc.
Gotcha. What's going on, Juan? What's going on, man? So I guess we'll start this off. I'll let you kind of introduce yourself and how you got into this journey of creating FluidTokens, and then we'll kind of jump into the more specifics of the project.
Sounds good. Let me introduce myself very quickly. My name is Matteo Coppola, and I'm the CEO of FluidTokens. FluidTokens is one of the leading projects on Cardano at this moment. It's a series of protocols that we've made in the last 2 years. And we started 2 years ago because there was a need for NFT holders to actually get liquidity without selling the NFTs. So we created one of the first peer-to-peer lending protocols on Cardano. And now we have developed several more protocols that are part of this ecosystem. And so the peer-to-peer protocol lending protocol is the first one. Then we had the renting protocol, allowing people to rent tokens and NFTs. The upcoming new one that is coming next week is called Boosted Stake. So it's a way to get a boosted stake of ADA for ISPO, voting, etc., without any risk from the lender. So it leverages the mechanics of Cardano itself. And then we also have Aquarium in the making, which is a protocol made to allow people to pay transaction fees without ADA, so using custom tokens or stable coins. And this is a super important protocol because it allows dApps that want to interact with real-world users that are not crypto savvy to actually allow them not to have any ADA, for example, in their wallet, because it can be complex, right? Because, for example, you ramp and get some stable coins or some custom tokens, but you don't have ADA, but you still are able to transact on the app. So it's kind of a series of protocols and projects that we made, listening to the community feedbacks. And now we have run an ISPO, and that will end on the 26th of December. And it went very well because we have, luckily, a very good community support. And our liquidity bootstrap event will happen on the 12th of January for 4 days. And yes, feel free to ask anything about this. There's so many things, so I understand that it could be.
So the first thing, I mean, my mind is going all over really, but the first thing with not needing to spend ADA fees, so will you still have to spend some sort of, like USDT, like Tether, some sort of fee through another coin? It's just not through Cardano?
That's the point. So the idea is both can be done. Everything happens on Cardano, so it's not outside the chain, but it's inside our chain. And there are two ways. dApps that want to attract customers or users in general may sponsor the transaction for their users, incentivizing them to use their application. And the other side is just, I will pay the fee with for example, stablecoin or with snek or with bonk, whatever you want to use as a token on Cardano. And then there will be someone else behind that has a pool of liquidity that will say, okay, I accept your USDM, for example, IUSD, snek, and I will pay for you the other amount that you need for executing the transaction. And this is pretty smooth. We want to integrate with many wallets, as much as wallets are possible. But at the same time, it's super safe because you sign the transaction, so I cannot change it. I just pay your fees. And I think it's super cool because Cardano allows that.
So this is all peer-to-peer as well?
It's a sort of, it's like an open market where you just match the best offer and you automatically do it.
Gotcha. And then you had NFTs, you're providing loans and liquidity to NFTs, right? So is this similar to Pond? Have you heard of Pond, right?
Yes.
Is it similar in the same way?
For the whole last year, we were together as protocols. Like Pond and FluidTokens were the main lending protocols for NFTs. And we published our white paper in early February of last year, before everything of this was around, and describing how Cardano could do it properly. And then several solutions have appeared, of course, and it was a success, because it worked very well. And this is the protocol that made us more known in the community since last year. And renting is another one. So a lot of NFTs can benefit from a renting feature. So you can rent an NFT, but you will never lose it if you give it to someone. And allows, for example, to get access to TapTools Pro. So you can rent the NFT for the amount of time you need without having to buy it fully. But it will also allow metaverse plots to be rented, for example. So there are, tickets for events, token gating tokens or NFTs. So there are many use cases. We just create services that the community needs, and then we see how the community use them.
No, that's really cool because there's a lot of new people that are coming into the space. And if, you guys don't know, if you're new to this, TapTools, you've probably used it before. If you're trading DeFi, you can get extra features if you own a Tappy, which is their NFT. And so what he's talking about here is that you can actually rent that NFT instead of paying full price and then use it for, let's say, a week, see if you like it, and then give it back. So it's kind of like a trial, right? As opposed to like paying full price and having to own it right away.
That's correct. That's exactly the point. And there is a on-chain discussion between who owns the original token, the NFT, and who wants to borrow it. So there are terms that the renter decide to put in place, and the borrower can accept if he wants. Otherwise, he will find another option from someone else. So everything about the price, the time, the minimum time, etc., is discussed in this way.
That's awesome.
So completely decentralized.
Yeah. So with Pond doing this, I think there's also maybe LenFi is doing this too with giving liquidity to NFTs. I'm not entirely sure, but is there a benefit to using Fluid as opposed to Pond or someone else?
Well, okay, LenFi doesn't focus on fungible tokens normally instead of NFTs. So this is our different, let's say, branch, right? And there are several reasons to use FluidTokens. First of all, because we've been online for 2 years now, no problems whatsoever. Nobody ever lost anything. There is a full karma mechanism for the lending, renting, and the booster stake that is coming next week. They are completely safe because you will never lose the asset. So if you rent an NFT, you won't lose it. If you delegate, you give lend some delegation, some stake, you won't lose it. After that period, you will get it back. It's completely safe. Both are audited, and the ecosystem is better to use it because there are several protocols and you can use all together. So increase the amount of way you can use it. And there are also a lot of upcoming integration with marketplaces, wallets, and etc. that we are working on. And Aquarium is one of them with the wallets, for example. But the new version of the lending and the renting and the booster stake allow composability with other smart contracts outside the ecosystem as well. So you can, in one transaction, for example, you want to buy an NFT from a marketplace, you can do it borrowing money in one transaction. So it's quite cool because it allows a lot of more complex and interesting strategies.
That's pretty cool. So you can literally buy the NFT without having the money. You can lend it and buy it at the same time through your. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
I like that.
There are all these kind of use cases, and many use cases actually appear from the users themselves. Once we release the protocols, they start using the protocols in some ways, and we discover that there are even more use cases for all of those. And we have a strong volume now. We already reached $1.5 million in volume. And the boosted staking is another important one because people always need for ISPO, for voting, for whatever, get some more ADA delegated to them, even if it doesn't belong to them.
So you say boost to stake, right? So
boosted stake, yeah.
How does that work?
It's okay. Basically, it's not far from the rent protocol. I have ADA that I want to lend, and you need ADA, for example, for an ISPO because you want more of the tokens that will be promised in the ISPO, right? So you want to increase your delegation of ADA, and I don't use that ADA, or I want a higher yield respect to the Cardano staking, because now it's slowly decreasing, right? And what can I do is to make available this ADA, and you will accept it. So you will see that on your wallet, you will see that it belongs to you, even if you don't have it, because the concept is about staking keys and wallet keys, right? So you have our spending key that is still mine, but that amount of ADA has your staking key. So it will appear as yours. And it's a cool thing that Cardano allows that nobody has much leverage until now. So
let me see
it's a very cool way.
If I have this right. So like I can rent an NFT and then also stake it? Is that the kind of concept?
They are two different. It's like they are two different things. The NFT, you can rent it, and you can also stake it if available depending on the NFT collection and project. And the boosted stake is about liquidity, so it's about ADA itself, and gives you a higher delegation. So you can, if you need a vote, you can increase it. If you need ISPO rewards, you get more. So a lot of people look for that, and on the other side, there are lenders that maybe don't know what to do with additional liquidity they have, and this is a very good market as well.
So
and it's super safe.
Works by taking fluid tokens and using those to increase the voting power that you have?
No, it's to actually get more ADA. Like if you need, for example, to vote on chain, right? Or to vote on some protocols, you may need a higher amount of ADA to have a higher weight in your vote. Or you want to have more ADA to get more tokens from the ISPO of some projects. You definitely need more ADA. So you can buy them somewhere and spend a lot of money, or you can just say, okay, I will borrow ADA in this way. It will appear as mine, so I increase my weight in the vote or the tokens I will receive as a reward from the SPO, etc. But I won't pay the same amount. I will pay much less because I just borrow them.
Gotcha. So you're just borrowing the ADA to increase your voting or to increase whatever,
yes.
And then you're giving it back after said time period.
Yes, it's automatic,
okay.
And the smart contract that doesn't allow you to steal them.
Okay, so you can't take that money and use it.
No,
okay.
It's just for actually being a stake, increasing your stake.
Gotcha. I always forget that people that people use the protocols to vote. I don't think I've voted once since I've been on Cardano. Is that talk to us about voting? Like, how big is that? Like, how important is it to vote and to have like our voice be heard on there?
Well, in general, in Cardano is super important, and we are going in the direction of the Voltaire era, so self-governance, which is one of our important milestones we have to reach in the future. and it will become more and more important to vote properly inside our ecosystem, right? Not FluidTokens itself, but Cardano in general. And this delegation allows you to have more visibility, for example, in your vote, in your opinions, or in your contributions. And in general, it will become more and more important, because the more protocols you have around, the more DAOs and decision must be taken by the community itself. And even FluidTokens has a DAO, a legal entity in Switzerland that is a DAO for these tokens, because this our token FLDT that is coming out with the Liquidity Bootstrap event in January. It's useful as utility token inside the whole ecosystem, and is also used for staking. Gives you a lot of benefits taking it inside the ecosystem, but also used for governance, because there is a DAO. We don't want to take all the decision ourselves, otherwise it couldn't be DeFi. And parameters, everything, new priorities, fixes, everything will be decided by a community vote on the DAO.
Gotcha. So this actually seems like, when you're voting for a president, you're just like, well, does my vote even count? But like here, you actually know that your vote does count. So in this sense,
Yes.
Would you just tell people, because I know there's been those like catalyst proposals or whatever, and everybody's like, oh, they only got through because big money pushed them through. And like, it's unfair that big money has this amount of, power. In this case, do you think if we actually just had the community vote more, that big power wouldn't be able to just kind of push through whatever proposal that they want to?
I think this is a more democratic approach, because if I have millions of ADA, my voting power is so strong compared to someone who doesn't. But if this guy really needs to go against me in order to make it fair, he can now borrow for a much less expense, a much less cost, to borrow ADA for voting. So this actually democratized the voting power that is based on how much ADA you have. Otherwise, people with more ADA keeps voting for themselves.
Yeah.
So in this other way, if you believe in something, you can actually pay a little bit, but not as much as acquiring the whole ADA and vote for the correct thing. It should be more fair.
Could that be manipulated though by other players who already have big money? Could they just get even more money through this protocol?
Potentially, yes. The thing is, everybody can. So the availability of this additional liquidity is not infinite, because depends on how many lenders, right? And ADA is not infinite, so there is a limit. And in this way, whoever gets it first can use it, and which means the bad guy can get it, but also all the good guys can get it. So it's better to contrast, because if I have so much more than you, even if I buy some more, it doesn't change much. But if you don't have so much, but you buy it, you borrow it, you go on a similar level as I am at the moment.
And is this already live? Can people already do this?
The booster stake is coming out in next week.
Okay.
We just finished last week the auditing process, because everything we do is audited. We don't want to, see people that lose stuff. And next week will we go live. So people should actually feel free to go and play with that. And I think it's super cool. And there is a splendid user interface, because I'm proud of my team. They do a lot of cool things there. And the user interface is important.
That's awesome, man. So where do you want to kind of like start back off where you were? I know I stopped you and asked a bunch of questions.
So to continue the discussion in general?
Yeah, or we could talk about, what do you already have up? Like, what can we show to people?
Okay. Let me add a little thing first. FluidTokens is born and stays in Cardano, always been and always will be. But we're also developing on the same protocols on our, let's say, a sort of migration, but it's not a migration, on different chains that are more famous in this moment, to allow to create bridges into Cardano. So our objective is to basically bring the attention, the liquidity that is in other chains now, and bring it into Cardano through our cross-chain services. And this is super important, because no chain can be an island. everybody. The more is connected, the better, right? For everybody, because the liquidity moves well, the users move better, and it's more interesting. It's more interesting for everyone. So what we are doing is we already developed with Milkomeda the AVM version of our peer-to-peer lending, and that in next year will be deployed on EVM chains or on the classic one, so Ethereum, for example. And we will slowly have the same process for the other protocols we made, and in this way we create more connection and easy, I say, cross-chain movement of liquidity.
Gotcha. So these things, we kind of need them to be EVM compatible, right? Because you want to do
Yes.
the no fees through Cardano and stuff like that, which would only be available on, well, mostly Ethereum virtual machines.
Yes, exactly. So far, I am a strong believer of Cardano, but so far we see that the liquidity and the volume is still a lot in the AVM blockchains. So Ethereum, layer 2s like Polygon, Arbitrum, etc. Right? And we have to communicate instead of fighting always. We have to find ways to collaborate, and our strong points in Cardano will be shown much more easier, and people will start believing, as we already do on the blockchain, much more. Yeah. So we are very collaborative in this idea. We cannot create cool things if we keep fighting everyone. It doesn't make sense.
I know. So like recently with the friend drop that happened yesterday, it had the whole min swap down for, well, not down, but it was taking like 20 to 30 minutes for orders to go through.
It was stuck, wild. Yes.
And, I've just been hearing like through the woodworks, all these Ethereum people are just like, I'd rather pay $1,000 in gas. I'd rather do, and they're just like, they're being Ethereum people. Right. And, it is kind of polarizing. And I'm just wondering, when can we get Hydra or a larger, block size in order to like speed up and help these issues that we have on Cardano? Will FluidTokens help in that way at all?
Well, we do our best, and there are several things that are being worked on Cardano in general for these. So first of all, we need to remember why we use the blockchain. We use the blockchain because of security and decentralization. If these two elements are not there, we just can use a big database for everybody. And it's super true. Like, as much as we want to have everything on a blockchain, we need to remember which are the priorities for being a blockchain. Decentralization, so public accountability and transparency of the transaction, etc., is the must. Of course, when we go to buy tokens, to buy NFTs, to trade them, we want the speed as well, because the user experience is important. And there are several things that are happening on Cardano to improve it. Hydra is for sure a possible solution, but it's very partial because not all the application can benefit from the Hydra heads. So Hydra for some application is perfect, for others, no. And as always, the truth is not the best solution, right? The only solution. But at the same time, Cardano itself, the technical teams are working on improving the parameters of the blockchain. For example, the block size, etc. They're working on input endorsers, which is a way to improve the throughput. And also, the thing that is super important to notice is that smart contracts that have been written in the version 1 of Bluetooth are super terrible in the management of the space, memory, etc. And in this moment, most of the traffic that is happening in Cardano still runs on V1 smart contracts. So all smart contracts that projects are not upgrading. So the first thing we have to do is to force these projects to move to version 2 that has been around for almost 1 year now. And soon we will have version 3, which will be even better. And if we do that, the traffic will be reduced of like 50%. So it's kind of crazy the amount of traffic we can save if we force people, the projects, to actually migrate to version 2 of Bluetooth.
Yeah, so one thing that you said was the Hydra nodes, and I was reading into this yesterday, so I'm glad you brought this up. The Hydra nodes can't be used on all applications, but if a lot of the traffic can be taken into Hydra, then some of the traffic that can't should also be sped up. So I'm wondering, through like using MinSwap or Dex Hunter or Fluid tokens, will you be able to use a Hydra node?
For some protocols, yes. For some others, it's more complex. For example, if we go with the renting needs to happen on Cardano to leverage the staking key and the spending key, right? This is the mechanism to allow the rent. But for lending and others, it's technically possible and requires a refactoring of the protocol because obtaining the same things on a Hydra head is different from doing on native on Cardano. But it's possible, and we should point to the idea of allowing it in an easy way. So far, working on Hydra is complex. The tooling is very technical. It's kind of you need to learn from scratch again. But yes, the more project that we go on Hydra heads, the less will be the traffic on Cardano itself. And when we will have Midnight, we are already planning to create some cool projects on FluidTokens on Midnight. A lot of protocols will be developed there as well. So we want increase the amount of protocols inside Cardano itself. And so yes, slowly we can do it. Remember that Hydra head is a pocket, so it's for that moment it's a little bit less decentralized, and then you have the settlement part that goes back to Cardano to confirm. So it's always like a sort of healthy compromise that in some cases is good, some cases maybe don't want that. It really depends on the use case, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Do you have any guess as to when we'll get Hydra? I mean, I know that's like always the talk of the town, right? Like, oh, in 3 months. And then it's like, oh, we got one node. Cool. Oh, 3 months. Oh, we got like, the second version of the first node. It's just like, when is this going to happen?
Yes, it's the true. We have very good conversation with most of the entities that are contributing to Cardano, Foundation, Emurgo, whatever. And the truth is that, for example, Hydra is such a technical project, and it's super difficult actually. It's like zero knowledge proofs as well. Those are very new and difficult from anybody that doesn't work there hasn't worked there for years, right? And so it's normal that the development it takes time. And I'd love to have a date of release, but I don't have, and I don't think they still have. It's better to go slowly but safe than seeing Hydra release then goes offline or gets exploited after 1 month. So let's give them the correct time and hope that it will go out as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's like the only thing I think that Cardano's missing, but I was also thinking about it, and every chain has their thing, right? Like Cardano people, they once in a while they try ETH and they're just like, oh, this gas thing, I hate this, I'm going back to Cardano. And then ETH people come to Cardano and they're like, oh, this speed thing, I'm going back to ETH, right? So like I think we all kind of naturally fit back into the chain that supports what we want or what we value more. And
yes.
I think that that's okay. Like when these people come over and they say whatever they say, I'm just like, all right, well, you can go back. Like I'll see you in another 3 months when you come back to give us a shot again. And, I'll see you when I go over there and I give y'all a shot again. Like it is what it is. I think everybody kind of likes what they like, and that's completely fine.
Yes, I think it's every blockchain offers something different, right? But the blockchain original problem that started with Bitcoin was about decentralization, not being able to be blocked to move your assets, to censorship resistant. And this is what Cardano is still the best with Bitcoin to do it. It's not the fastest at the moment, but because it's very decentralized. There are other blockchains that are super fast, but when it's super fast, it means that there are very few nodes, or that most of the nodes are controlled by the same entity. And this is the case of many of top 10 blockchains, okay? And that the user experience there is better because if it's faster and doesn't get stuck, of course it's better. But if you get a blockchain that goes offline, it's not nice. If you have a layer 2, like any Ethereum layer 2, that is cheap with gas fees and use EVM features, but at the same time you also have a multi-sig wallet that is controlling everything. So it's not the best decentralized solution. So you can the best solution would be to have bridges that are secure, are cheap enough to move from one to the other. And you say, okay, now I have to do some stuff. I will use, for example, Polygon. But then when I finish, I want to go back to Cardano because it's the safest one. This is my view, right? And the better we do it, the better the blockchain ecosystem will be. And for example, the Rosen Bridge from Ergo is super interesting. They allow a decentralized and very safe bridge of tokens from different chains. So a lot of things are happening, and it's super interesting.
Yeah, I appreciate your insight, man. And anybody in the stream, if y'all have any questions, maybe I'm not, asking, just ask away. We'll get through it together. We're gonna learn together. Disaster, he just wants the alpha. If there's any alpha, you can give him about the fluid tokens. That's what he wants to know.
She wants to know, yes. So regarding the token FLDT of our ecosystem for tokens, is the IPO is, as I said, finishing at the end of December in 26th. And the liquidity bootstrap event will happen with MemeSwap on the 12th of January. And we changed the name. It's a fair bootstrap event because what we do is basically you are allowed to put your liquidity ADA if you want to buy it, get the token, or withdraw anytime for the free 3 days for free. You can, and then after the 3rd days, there will be a penalty to incentivize you to keep it there, right? And also there is a triple farming if you keep the liquidity in the pool. So you will get FLDT, MIN, and ADA. So it's kind of a cool combo. And it's also one of the most fair tokens that we ever seen on Cardano. There are no VCs, no pre-sale, right? The only thing we did before it was the IPO. And the IPO guys are not getting the token now, but after the liquidity bootstrap event, and it's vested for a year. Okay, so and most of the tokens is allocated only to the community. So the majority of the token is for the community, and there are no other big players behind that are dumping on the token. So it's very fair because we embrace the philosophy of Cardano because we started here, we studied for years here, and we want to do the same thing for a long-term partnership with the community. We need them to be happy and not be dumped by someone. Okay, so we are super proud of that because it took months of tokenomics work to understand how to do it properly, and the utility is there because all our protocols, you will have, for example, reduced fees if you hold FLDT tokens inside. You have how to say, previews of pro features that will be available only later to others. There is a staking, there is a governance, access to the public DAO treasury, instant lending. You get sponsored transactions with Aquarium using FLDT. So it's kind of a big list of very cool features. And it will all increase because next year, if we get with the liquidity bootstrap event, we will get much more space to, for having a bigger team, for having more projects at the same time in parallel, and it will be super cool for Cardano.
So when does this go live again? One more time?
You mean the liquidity bootstrap event?
Yeah. When people can first start to buy into the project.
Yes, 12th of January. It will be the bootstrap event with MemeSwap. All the details you can find for example, on our Twitter, but we will try to advertise in all our mediums as much as possible so people know. And it's a super cool. I think it's super fair, and people now are in this hype of fungible tokens on Cardano, right? So if people want a coin that is not, of course, it's not a meme because it's super serious because the project's been here for 2 years already, but with valid fundamentals. So it's fair. The tokenomics makes sense. There are strong utilities, and we are here to stay. FLDT is the correct token to get. So feel free, guys, to ask questions if you want and to get the token on the 12th.
Yeah, dude. So on the 12th, there won't be any tokens in anybody's hands ready to dump. It'll just be first person to buy gets at the best price, right?
Yes. There is a minimum amount that we have to raise, which is 4 million ADA, and a maximum amount that is 8 million ADA. If we go over, the liquidity withdrawal events immediately finishes, and we just put everything else in the pool. So it just to provide liquidity since day one, and everybody will be happy with that. I guess it's there is no backdoor or something like this, and the team has a very huge vesting schedule, and so we have a very minor allocation for the whole team, and it's vested in like I don't remember 5 years or something, and with tranches, not all at once. So there are no big selling moments, pressure. There is no selling pressure moments around the next years.
Gotcha. So when you say you're trying to raise minimum 4 million ADA and then maximum 8 million, and anything above that will be sent to the LP.
Yes.
So it won't be live on MinSwap on the 12th, correct?
Correct. I mean, you will have the ball on MinSwap on the 12th for 4 days.
Okay.
After that, it will be a regular pool, and everything will be generated and given to the people, etc., according to the vesting schedules and etc.
Gotcha.
So the ISPO guys will start getting their tokens as well, but this is also vested in 1 year, so nothing goes all at once. Otherwise, people can dump, right? We don't like that.
Right. Okay, cool. I like that. And let's say it does go to like 9 million. Will 1 million of those tokens or of that ADA, will they be given tokens as well? And will the tokens be a smaller amount?
It will be part of the pool, so it will be half, yes.
Okay, so if less people buy in, does that mean more tokens per ADA?
No, there is a max amount of tokens, is 32% of the total, and the rest of that you will be able to get it with staking into the ecosystem. So everything goes to the community. It's not in our hands.
Gotcha.
And that's the important part, because if people use more our ecosystem and enjoy it, we can do more things, and we want to do a lot. So it's a win-win situation.
I like this, man. This sounds really hype. And on day one that you're able to buy the tokens and then receive them, what will we be able to do with our tokens other than hold?
Okay, of course. Yeah, at the first month is about holding, but we will slowly release, or after the SPO, we have to reintroduce the fees of the protocols. So during our IPO period, if we reach a threshold, it was about 35 million ADA delegated to us, we made 0 fees for all our protocols for the whole IPO period. Now, after the SPO, of course, the protocol has to generate revenues to pay for whatever tech stack is behind, and we will have to slowly reintroduce small fees. And having the token itself gives you direct benefit in discounts of the fees. If you stake it, you will have 0 fees and much more things there, right? So the immediate thing is about the fees. If you want to use the protocol, you don't want to pay extra the small fee. It's about holding some FLDT in your wallet. So just holding, you don't have to burn them or consume them somehow. It's just to hold. And then slowly, when we are basically are in process of setting up the DAO as a legal entity in Switzerland, the DAO will manage the DAO treasury, which is a liquidity pool that is in the hands of the DAO itself and allows to get instant loans or similar mechanics for anybody that belongs to the DAO.
And will you have to hold tokens in order to rent?
To rent, NFTs?
Yeah, to rent NFTs or do loans or any of the utility.
The protocols is open for everyone, for everybody, as our philosophy is like this. It's a DeFi protocol, it must be for everybody. But at the same time, there is a fee to pay to the ecosystem to use the protocol, right? It's a small one, but it's still there. With the FluidTokens, if you have FLDT, the correct amount, you will have at the discount, and if you stake the FLDT, it will be 0. So it's kind of a good process to keep the supply reduced, but at the same time to allow people to enjoy more all the operation that they want to do on our protocols.
Nice. Do you guys have any NFTs maybe down the line that'll give extra utility or extra staking bonus, anything like that?
Yes, but not down the line. So the guys who actually participated in the SPO, got an NFT, and this will give a little boost in the liquidity bootstrap event. So they will get, I don't remember how much is written in the tweet that you can find in our documentation, but it's basically a way to thank everybody that actually participated in the IPO, because it provided us some liquidity to do the projects during the last year. And of course, it's a good way to also incentivize people that participated in the SPO to also participate in the bootstrap event, because they will get the small bonus there. It's small, so it doesn't damage the other people that don't have the NFT, but it's still something that people may enjoy. So,
Gotcha.
and they can sell the NFT, for example, if they don't want it. They can sell to someone that can benefit the bonus.
Right. And what is the NFT called?
That's I need to find it because I'm not on my computer, and we gave the NFT to all the holders. But I can write later a link to the proper policy ID and token name. So you guys, the token name changes, but the policy ID is still the official one.
Gotcha. I was just gonna try to find it on JPEG Store and show everybody real quick. Do you know what it's called? Is it called Fluid anything?
Let me write to the rest of the team, and I will provide you the information.
Gotcha.
Because it's been managed by, I don't know if you know Raulito is our CTO. Is a very active guy in Cardano in Twitter, and he managed the tokenomics very well during this year. I was with him, of course, but he did a lot of calculations and testing with the sparring partners about tokenomics. And the NFT of the SPO hasn't been actually yet minted. When the SPO finish, we mint it and give to the holders. So after the 26th of December, you will see it around, and you will find it on JPEG or whatever marketplace they want to use.
Nice.
And they can also use it to borrow if they want. That's the point. It's an NFT, right? So you can use a collateral as well.
Right. So is there anything that we haven't covered yet that you wanted to go over, anything like that maybe I didn't ask you?
We talk about a lot of things, actually, and I'm super happy. There is a lot we are doing behind the scene. We are working on several things, included real-world assets tokenization. So we have partnered with, for example, in Maker and IMX for doing a project called Finest that will allow real-world assets on Cardano chain that are legally valid in front of everybody. So it's kind of one of the next steps that the blockchain in general is pushing for the next year, I guess. And it's super important for Cardano to have them, to have several projects that do it. And so we are happy to do that as well. And so we basically sleep not much, but we are very happy to work on these kind of things.
The life of a developer, man.
Yes, correct. It's the life of a developer.
Wake up, coffee, develop, don't go to sleep, more coffee.
Yes, and when you're going to sleep, you normally read some white papers or think about new ideas that you can try.
Yeah, man. Do you trade, have you been trading any of these things coming out, any NFTs lately? I know some things have been on a dip, but we've been seeing kind of some buybacks for Clay, for Ape Society. Do you own any NFTs, anything?
I do own some NFTs. I've been working for some projects that have NFTs. I started working on Cardano as a DevOps engineer and smart contract developer 3 years ago. And so I've been there. I have NFTs. I buy NFTs sometimes. If I like the project, I normally get one NFT there at least. And what I actually now focusing on, I want to try is all these new DEXs that are coming out slowly. So we know pretty much Genius, Yield, but now AXO is another big one that is going out. So I just I'm interested about the technical parts here because I'm a dev. So I kind of, not don't care, but care less about the actual trading thing, but more about the technology that is being used, the solution that they made. And there is a lot, and the activity now on Cardano is strong. This is why the chain is sometimes gets stuck a little bit, which is not stuck, it's just very slow.
Right.
Because Cardano is
pending transactions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of pending transaction, because to create the blocks of the blockchain, you need time as a validator. And Cardano has been made for sustaining this amount of traffic, so not go offline when the traffic is that high. But of course, as long as we don't change parameters, we add input endorsers, and we also migrate from V1 to V2, all the dApps, the traffic will be very high and will fill the block. So slowly, hopefully, we will, fix all these little things, and you will see that the traffic will change, and we'll be able to, have this stress on the chain without problems. It's still not the final solution, of course, because if we want speed, we need to consider, for example, Hydra and other side chains or partner chains.
Yeah, and you also said about people just upgrading, from the first version of smart contracts to the second version.
Yes.
And I wonder too, because I don't know how hard it is to do that, right? But if we're going to have a new version every year or so, it seems like, then people might be waiting for version 3 to upgrade. Do you think that's the case?
Yes, so version 3 has not been announced yet, so we don't have a date. So it probably won't come out in Q1 or Q2.
Right.
I guess it will take a little bit. So the best bet is to actually migrate to V2 if you are one of the biggest dApps, as we are as well. Like we have to stay on V2 to not create too much traffic too. But DEXs, for example, and marketplaces need to be on V2 if possible. And the migration is not complex at all. If anybody needs help, we can help. It's something that, of course, there are some small differences, but most of the code can be similar. The problem normally is that you, as a project, you audited your V1 contract, smart contract. And if you change it, you need to audit again. And of course, it takes time and is also expensive. But if you're one of the major projects, you definitely can afford a new auditing. So I strongly suggest that. And to incentivize the project to do it, users should not use the project that use V1. So it's about the community again. It's if we show them that they need to migrate, they will migrate, basically.
Gotcha. Yo, what's going on, Hugs? Hope you're having a good day, man. So with these tokens coming out, do you think that there's going to be eventually like too many tokens? Like, which ones do I choose from? Or do you think we're still like too new for that at the moment?
Well, I think it's a natural evolution. It's like blockchain tokens. At the beginning, we have very few blockchains, right? And then now we have thousands of blockchains around, and probably the only valid ones are probably 20, 25 maybe, right? You don't know. You can speculate on the other blockchains, but if they don't bring innovation or very new disruptive ways, it's probably just a copy and paste or something. And the same happens with the tokens. So each dApp can have its own token, and it's healthy to have it. And those tokens will for sure remain as long as there is utility and use cases of those tokens. Then at the opposite side of the spectrum, you have the meme coins. And the meme coins are there for the meme, right? And it's super cool, but the hype must be there to keep the meme coin up. And this is a normal dynamic of meme coins, right? And at the end, of course, some meme coins will die and new meme coins will be born. And and some project will fail and some new project will come out. So after a while, I expect a sort of balance of new tokens that come out and old tokens that die. And because it's a natural market, right? It's free and everybody can be a player inside. And so I don't think if we have too many tokens, it's a good thing, in my opinion. It's like,
Gotcha.
okay, there is so much activity that everybody is making tokens, right? And it's cool to have. But at the end, the valid ones that the people will talk about will be, I don't know, maybe 100 or 50.
Gotcha. Yeah. Zach over here, I just want to make sure. He says he can barely see the video. Is it camera or settings, perhaps? I will say that I am using a 720 pixel account for StreamYard, so that's the highest it can go to, but that still should be plenty viewable. I just want to make sure if anybody else having like problems viewing anything, just let me know. I'll fix that somehow. But might just be your internet, Zach. I'm not sure. Juan, he says, let's fucking go. Full send snek. Hey, man, appreciate you. Need to break the 0.0035 price of the moon. What do I think about Fren, Bull, and Pickle? I mean, they're just hype right now. I do have more to say about Bull. I've been debating like when I want to say it because I don't want to like just hijack Matteo's time. But I do want to give a little bit of shout outs to Bull because they have a really cool community. Let me just like share the Discord real quick because every time I go in there, it's just like helpful people. It's not necessarily people like trying to pump a bag, right? I'll just share the chart instead actually first. So like I have a little bit of Bull. Actually, I think I just sold out before this podcast started because I just didn't want to be actively trading it. And how I've been playing all of these meme coins is you get in and then you get out because just like Matteo said, they're eventually going to stop pumping, right? It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years, even in the case of like Doge and Sheeb. But more times than not, it's like weeks or months. So I'm just playing it really safe. Bull has a really cool community. They're also doing some things like they're doing giveaways through Mutant Labs raffles. So I guess not giveaways. They're doing raffles, and you can buy tickets, and then the liquidity from those ticket sales are going to go towards their LP to help sustain their ecosystem a little bit, which I think is pretty cool. So I do think that Bull has some potential. I have no idea how well they're going to do, but Bull, I've been basically just day trading, like just all these candles up and down. I've been doing pretty well doing that, but I'm just nervous to try to buy in and hold and wait for like a new all-time high. Fren is brand new, but it kind of gives me Freya vibes without the preemptive, this is a rug. I think everybody was super nervous about Freya when it first came out, and then it did well anyways. But Fren doesn't seem to have that rug appeal or their lack thereof that Freya had. So I think Fren can actually see new all-time highs at some point. It does look like they're coiling up, and it's so freaking new, man. Like I don't even really know what to say other than that. I would just say be careful. If you're up a substantial amount, if you're over leveraged, please just sell. This is for degens to have fun, right? Not for people to try to become rich. Yes. Even though you can, right? And
potentially, but it should be taken as a game more than a serious things. Don't put money that you cannot afford to lose always.
Exactly. Like you go to the arcade, right? With like a few quarters, and you have your fun. That's it. You don't go to the arcade with your bag. You're not dumping in
That's
all
true. That's true. That's the point here.
So right, like if you see as I like click around through, even snek, like I sold out a snek the other day as we were dropping down, and I bought some more on the way down. Like even snek, I'm not holding long term. Not saying like you shouldn't. You can do whatever you want to do, and I do believe in snek, so I wouldn't blame you for that one long term. But you just got to be really safe. Like I've been destroyed in meme coins and NFTs like multiple times over, which is why I'm just not doing the buy and hold that a lot of people are doing.
Did you have some Safe Moon?
Oh man, I almost got into Safe Moon, and then I thought like, you know what? No. And then it went crazy, and I thought, what? Like I missed it. Let me not miss the next one. And then something in my mind just told me, no, you already missed it. Just stop. And then it crashed, and I was like, okay, cool.
That's a pretty natural evolution lifespan of a meme coin for most of the time. So.
It's sad when people get wrecked, but it's so great when it's pumping, isn't it?
The feeling is good. The rush there is so good.
Yeah. Cool, mate. Thanks for clarifying. I hope that you can, see it all right. Just let me know if it's because if I'm streaming at 720p and that's not good enough for most people, like let me know. I can always pay a little bit more to go to 1080. Honestly, it's 25 a month and it's 50 a month to go up just from 720 to 1080. So I'm trying to just save a little bit of money if I'm being honest. Yo, got family in. I'll catch up later. Yo, I appreciate you, Scottish. Hope you're getting in a good workout today, buddy. And yeah, anything else that you wanted to cover today?
No, actually, if the community wants to let me know feedbacks about everything we say today, So about our protocols, our upcoming Liquidity Bootstrap event. Feel free, guys, because we base our whole development based on community feedbacks. So we do stuff, we change stuff only based on what the community needs and asks for. And we always did, and we will always do. So guys, feel free, between going long or short on snek, feel free to actually give some feedbacks with us.
Yeah, if you guys got any questions, just let us know. And I don't have it in the description yet, but after this, I'm going to fix the description for this video, and I'm going to add the Twitter for Fluid Tokens, and I'm going to add the Discord for Fluid Tokens. So if any of y'all want to become, a part of the ecosystem, ask any questions, then you'll know where you can go.
The full team is always there, so we always answer. We are very interactive with the community.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just give like a few minutes for people to type any questions if they got any. In the meantime, man, what are you doing later today? Any plans for the day?
Today, I'm going out for dinner to stop a little bit from staying in front of the computer, because as a developer, even if I do a lot of meetings during the day now, and at the same time, when I'm not in meetings, I develop a lot. So I spend a lot of hours on the computer, which is super fine because I like what I do. But the eyes, for example, at the end of the day feels the tiredness, right? So it's good to take a break, eat something good, and then go back eventually to work later or tomorrow morning.
What's your favorite thing to eat, man? What's your favorite food?
Me? Well, I'm Italian, so I have so many good things they can suggest here. But well, for example, a lot of type of spaghetti, Italian spaghetti are very good. Carbonara, for example, amatriciana, etc. Pizza, of course, if done well, is super good. We won't start the discussion about pineapple on pizza, okay? Not today.
If Clean was here, we absolutely would. You would not have a choice. He actually, I don't know if you know this, but yeah, my co-host Clean, he works at a pizza joint, and even before that, he owned his own pizza joint, so he always asks about pizza.
That's okay. That's okay. I can accept that. Just don't do it in Italy if you want to put the pineapple. Do it abroad, and that will be fine. And but it's every time I go to a Cardano summit. So, for example, the Dubai one in October, Lausanne one last year, Denver at the Rare Evo conference. Everybody asked me about the pineapple pizza. So it's it's a Cardano thing now.
Yeah, it's definitely a Cardano thing. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to look forward to January 12th, right? That's the date.
Correct.
And if anybody, is looking for any more information, check in the description below. We're going to have their Twitter and their Discord. So remember, guys, to always get outside, see your friends, see your family. We're here to make more money so that we can spend more time with them. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye, Atlanick, guys, everyone. Bye.
And